Hello guys, Termex here, and welcome back to another Throne and Liberty video. Today I'm going to show my final Endgame Crossbow Dagger build. I already went over the exact gear I'm farming for. That was my previous video that says Endgame Gear. That video is for the gear specifically, so I'm not going to be covering the gear once again in this video as it's very time consuming. But in today's video I'm going to go over my skills, my specializations, and all those sorts, going over into my final fine cut build, I guess you could say. So first, going into my skills, since my last video I took off detonation mark. Unfortunately, we left it with normal mortal mark and we moved it elsewhere. So for our specializations, what we did is for PvP specifically, we went with the classic thunderclouds bombing. So if you go to inflict poison, you get thunderclouds bombing, lightning infusion here. All you really have to do, proc lightning infusion, hit the target a bunch of times, get them to 20 stacks, and then activate your thunderclouds bombing to do a big burst of damage. We kept our camouflage cloak with our same exact duration, shadow strike with a little bit of bind duration, but I can't argue you could swap this between bind and range so you can catch up to people in PvP easier, because by default the cast range is 14 meters and this makes it a whopping 20 meters, and it does allow you to have some catch up to people that are running away, which is why it's personally one of my favorite skills in the game. For the crossbow, it's pretty simple. The quick fire combo with the extra charge and the bonus damage, same with nimble leap. We have reset the cooldown of our quick fire so we could cycle that damage, and then consecutive use so we could use it twice. Selfless diffusion, I know this is controversial, but I am using health concentration recovery. Makes you move really fast. So as you see here, when we're running, if I proc my 4, you get a burst of speed, and it's something I like for maneuverability. Mana exchange, we just make it stronger with the enhanced skill effect. Nature's protest, we're still sticking with lightning arrow, though if you're going to do AoE damage, switch over to the gale arrow, because gale will allow you guys to do AoE bombs without the need of only using annihilation barrage shot, because annihilation barrage is your only form of AoE, and that already procs gale. But if you want even more AoE, you can make your quick fire do gale by simply proccing the nature's protest into the gale arrow. As for our skills, we still have mark, quick fire, nimble leap, selfless diffusion, mother nature's protest, shadow strike. Then we have our thunderclouds bombing into our lightning infusion. If you're doing PvE, I would actually recommend keep normal poison and then swap out thunderclouds bombing for the recoil shot, and then for the recoil shot pop on the wave shot specialization if you're going to be doing PvE, because I find it just does a lot more damage and it's a lot safer of a build. Of course, we have our annihilation barrage, our invisibility, our mana exchange so we can keep our mana upkeep, and then we have wind snatcher for both PvE and PvP. I do enjoy this in PvE. It allows me to get more DPS when I trigger that 20% attack speed, and the movement speed is also nice when I'm avoiding certain boss mechanics. Into our passive skills, we have piercing strike for the bonus damage overall and the stam regen. We also have destructive fang so we can get reduced target defenses when we have thunderclouds or poison on an enemy. You can keep this on regardless if you have either, because it does work with both poison and thunderclouds. We have Shadow Walker. Using a mobility and movement skill increases our damage reduction by 14, so this is going to be one of our main survivability skills. We also have detection. Getting attacked has a 30% chance to increase our movement speed, which is really nice. I've had a lot of times where I proc so much movement speed that when I'm spin to winning, I'm moving at like Mach 5, which is something not a lot of people expect. So getting the most movement speed with crossbow dagger is not only fun, but it's basically borderline needed if you want to be the most agile possible. Of course, we have Bloodlust. This is basically a stacking damage ability where our skill damage will keep increasing based on our number of hits, and we get even more critical hit damage when we max out these stacks, which is very good for our overall damage. Then we have Nature's Protest, not to be confused with Mother Nature's Protest. Nature's Protest is different. Using a mobility or movement skill just increases your damage by 20 and your skill damage by 19 for 3 seconds. Basically, if you use nimble leap and dash over into quick fire, you're going to be doing a crap ton of damage. Then we have Assassin's Instincts. Melee, magic, and range critical hit chances are just flat out increased, allowing us to make up for those people running a bunch of endurance. But even then, we have our thunderclouds bombing and lightning infusion combo, so when they have the 20 stacks of lightning infusion, they have even more reduced endurance, and I believe when you have this maxed out, it's 400 reduced endurance on top of the passive. It's just absolutely bonkers. You could just lower their endurance, increase your crit, and basically guarantee your critical hits on anyone in PvP. Then finally, Eagle Vision. Attacking a target increases your magic and range hit chance. Hit chance is very important, and since I do not have a lot of perception with this build, having hit chance via my passive is going to be my main bread and butter. If I notice later on that my hit chance is starting to hold me back, I will probably put more perception into my build with a little bit less strength, depending on how my gear turns out. For the weapon mastery on the crossbow, we're going into the bottom tree for the damage and overall damage to everything we do, and then the middle tree for cold vision, so we get the range hit chance, the mana regen, another range hit chance, since we are not running a lot of perception with this build. Now for the daggers mastery, we're doing something pretty similar. We're going assassin for all the damage and the attack speed capstone, but then we're going to stop at halfway point in the very top, so we get an all evasion, cooldown speed, mana efficiency, range defense, just a bunch of survivability. Now for the defensive skill, I like to rock with rupturing parry just because it's with the bow and it makes me feel good when I'm dodging, but it does have vampiric attack, which allows you to regenerate health, but that's something that blade block does not have, so I prefer this over blade block just for my personal playstyle. If you guys don't like how that operates, you could try out blade block and switch between the two, but if you do like to use crossbow more often than not, then obviously you do want to run rupturing parry. For my actual stat points, we have 30 strength, 50 dex, and 24 perception. When I get all my gear, like I mentioned in a previous video, we should be looking at something more like 40 strength, 50 dexterity, and then we have 30 or 40 perception. The other way to run it would be just stay at 50 dexterity, try to get the 50 perception, and then put the rest into strength. If you want to be more glass cannon, I recommend 50 dex, 50 perception, and then the rest into strength. If you want to be a little bit more tanky, I would run 60 dex, 40 strength, rest into perception, but I want to go for a glass cannon, so it's probably going to be 50-50, and then the rest into strength. Maybe I can get to 30 based on my gear, but the perception attack range increase makes this build play a whole lot better, even in PvP, especially with all the buffs on the gear that we do have, making it really fun and almost outranging normal longbow at times, which is absolutely crazy to see. And like I said before, my weapons and gear I made a separate video on because it's very complicated, but I show you every single location to get the endgame stuff, some of which I still don't have, but it is what I'm farming for and grinding for, and that video in the description down below or the pinned comments based on where I put it will show you the exact location to get all that gear. Now if you're curious about the damage combo when it comes to using all of these skills, you can refer to another one of my videos on the channel where I show the whole combo. The only difference between that one and this one is going to be the lightning infusion, and for the new players that do not know, the way to stack lightning infusion is proc your lightning infusion, obviously, and get 20 stacks onto the target, and when you do have 20 stacks, you click your thunderclouds bombing, and you hit for big damage. Right there we hit for 2,600, you could hit for 4,000 or 5,000 based on the amount of debuffs the target has. And as you can see, we have a pretty far attack range right now, and we don't even have the max out perception. So if we had perception, you could imagine by how far we could actually attack targets and maintain a safe distance. But that is my current endgame build with everything to do with it. You guys let me know your builds in the comments down below, anything you would change. Remember, this is just a guide, not a hard stuck thing you have to do, but this is what I'm personally going to be rocking and building for the foreseeable future. And I probably won't make another video like this until new gear comes out, a new level cap increase comes out, or anything of the sort. This is going to be the final endgame build for Crossbow Dagger, so good luck, get to farming, get this gear set, and if you need any advice or any help on other videos or build topics, let me know in the comments down below, as I do read all of them, and I am here to make guides for you guys. Again, appreciate all the support. Make sure you hit the like button because it does spread out my content to more people in the community, and don't forget to subscribe because you never want to miss out on another video from me, guys. Stay safe, and I'll see you all later.